I mean, I think the opportunity as a whole, just as an offensive line, we're really excited for it. I mean, really well coached, got some really good guys on that defensive line. I mean, I'm just excited to go out there and compete. So I know they're going to bring their A game, so we got to make sure we do as well.
What do you say to the people who say you slot more as a guard at the next level as compared to your talent?
For me, I don't care what I play. Any team that's willing to take a chance on me, I'll play whatever position, whether that's offensive line, whether that's a running back, fullback. I mean, put me wherever. I'll do the job.
I go to the San Francisco 49ers as well, and a lot of fans are looking at you and scouting you because they have some offensive line help that is needed with that team. Is that an organization, is that an offensive scheme that you're kind of familiar with?
Oh, for sure. We watch a lot of their film. I mean, personally, I watch a lot of their film. It's cool to just turn on the tape and watch some of the guys on that offensive line, especially Trent Williams. You know, it's really hard to emulate and put some of his stuff that he does on the field into my game just because of how talented he is. You know, you can't really like replicate some of the stuff that he does. But of course, I mean, the 49ers, I mean, any team, like I said, whoever decides to take a chance on me, man, I'm willing to give whatever. So.
No sacks given up against Texas. Penix had a clean pocket for almost all the game. What were you guys able to do so well?
I mean, just play together as one. We knew going into the game that they had a really solid interior defensive line, and their edges do a really good job. They're really all well coached. And, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing all season really is just that we're all able to play together as one, and we're all able to go out there and know what we're all thinking. Like, I know what Roger's thinking. I know what Parker's thinking. We're just making sure, and Parker does a really good job of making sure that we're all on the same page. So yeah, I mean, we executed the game plan as best as we could and came out with the win.
This offensive line has held up well all season, won the Joe Moore Award. What's left to prove?
National championship, man. That's the only thing on our mind. I mean, all the awards are really cool, but this is the one we wanted. This is the one we've been working for since we came here. I mean, this is what we wanted. This is why we came to UW and for opportunities like this. So yeah, I'm excited.
What needs to happen Monday night in order for you to look up at the scoreboard at NRG Stadium after the game and be a national champion?
Just keep on doing what we've been doing since the beginning of the season. I mean, 14 games in. One thing that I think this team's really good at is just doing their job at a really high level, and I think that's what we got to do. We don't got to do anything special. We don't got to do anything crazy. The coaches aren't asking anything crazy of us, so we just got to go out there and execute.
Hi, I appreciate your time. Can you speak to Michael Penix as both a player and person, and what has stood out most about him since your arrival or since his arrival in Washington?
I would say he's just a true-born leader. I mean, you just seen how much he's grown as a vocal leader for sure. Last year, he was still a little bit in his shell, just trying to get comfortable with everybody. But this year, he's taken big leaps, and he's done a really great job of making sure that he holds everyone accountable, especially himself. That's what we see is he holds himself more accountable than he does everybody else, and we respect that from him. And so yeah, I mean, he's a great guy, stand-up guy, and so yeah.
How is the relationship with the entire offensive line in general, from your perspective, the relationship between the offensive line and Michael Penix? How is that in your mind evolved over the course of this season?
Honestly, just learning more about the guy, it makes it a lot easier to block for him. You know what I mean? Just knowing how much he's gone through in his career and in his life, and him being able to be vulnerable and share that with us has really been, I think, the key thing that helps us go out there and want to block for a guy like him. So he's the most humble guy I've ever met, and with all the success and praise that he gets, he makes sure that he gives credit to us. So great guy. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to go out there and battle with nobody else. So
Thank you so much.
of course.
Besides individual talent, what makes this offensive line so good?
I think we're brothers off the field. I think that's the biggest thing, that brotherhood, that unity that we have off the field, just by hanging out with each other, just doing stuff that normal college students usually do. Like I told the other guy that was here before, I mean, we play the game together, we go out to eat together, we do a whole bunch of stuff. And I think that's just what separates a lot of us. I mean, just the fact that we we love each other on and off the field. No matter what happens in the games, like I got all their backs, and they for sure got mine. So.
Michigan had, I think, 6 sacks against Alabama. What stands out on tape about their defensive line and how they put pressure on?
They're just very disruptive. I mean, they get in the backfield, they make plays, and we just got to make sure that we go out there with the right mindset and execute the game plan that the coaches have out for us. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, it means the world. I mean, growing up, watching this game every Monday, you always dreamed about being here, and I came to UW because I thought, we one day get here, and I mean, here we are. It took 5 years, this is my 5th year, but I wouldn't want the journey to go any other way than how it did. So I'm just really excited for this opportunity, especially for this team and these coaches. They've just been great overall. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't want to go to battle with anybody else. So. I mean, it's awesome. Like I said, growing up, just watching games like this, you've always wanted to be a part of it, and here we are. It's really surreal. I mean, I don't think it's really hit me that we're really playing in the national championship, and I don't think it will until after the game, just because we're kind of in the heat of the moment and in the midst of all the chaos. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this opportunity once again. It's super, super cool to be here.
Michigan's defensive line loves to rotate a lot of guys in and out. They kind of do these really big rally groups. Have you faced a team like that in your career that rotates as much as Michigan does?
Yeah. We played Oregon, and they play like 8 guys on the edge. I faced so many people in one game. It was crazy. But, yeah, all of them are threats. For Michigan, all of them are great players. All of them are really, really well coached. So we've got to make sure we're ready for all of them.
And you guys had about a month to prepare for Texas and just kind of sitting and analyzing one team, and now you have just 7 days to analyze Michigan. What has that difference been like for you, and do you appreciate and like kind of more of a normal game week schedule with 7 days versus a full month? For sure.
I mean, getting into the rhythm of things during the season, you kind of have a set schedule on what I'm going to watch on this day, what I'm going to watch on this day. Texas, it was kind of hard to kind of break that up with so much time. But, yeah, I kind of just got back into the rhythm of things and made sure that I just stuck to what I've been doing all season. So yeah, appreciate it.
Well, you were fairly highly recruited, but you weren't like a 5-star guy. Now people are saying you're a first-round NFL talent. In what ways have you gotten better in your time in Washington?
I think the biggest thing for me was just not listening to the outside noise. For me, like my first 3 years here at Washington, things just didn't go the way that I planned them. That I planned it to go, and the timing wasn't on my timing. So I had to just make sure that I kept my head down and just keep on going. I think that's the biggest thing. And just with a lot of the guys that come in early, they think they can come in and play right away. But a lot of people get reality checks really fast, and college is a lot different than high school. So I think just over the years, I would say just being more patient. I think that's the best way to say it. So. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, just as a team, I think we're all we all have the same mindset. We all have the same goal, and I think that's what makes us so special, and that's why we're here, is that no one's fighting against, the vision. Coach Grubb always talks about the vision, and they set out the plan, and we just have to be there to execute it. So I think we're just doing everything that they're telling us to do, and we've gotten here, so. I just think the preparation that the coaches expect from us and that they put on us and make sure that we're ready to go is next level. I don't think anyone's doing what we're doing to prepare for these games and the time that we put in and as a whole. So I think he does a really good job of demanding that from us. So what's up, Asa? How you doing? Oh, for sure. In the games, there's always those those plays in the game that you know when they get called in the huddle, it's like, uh-oh, here we go. Like, I mean, it's bad to say that because every play is supposed to be like that, but you know, there's those certain play calls that you run during practice, like, oh, yep, this is going to be one of them. This is going to be the one. So, I mean, he just does a really good job of making sure that we're prepared for those moments, and that he has a lot of trust in us, and we have a lot of trust in him to do his job. And so, yeah.
And then on the other side, from Jesse Winter, Michigan's defense, have you done tape stand out to you about their creativity?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The one word that I would use for Michigan's defense is just disruptive, especially in the backfield. Their D-line, their linebackers, their front seven is really well coached. I mean, they play together. I think that's the one thing that stands out for me. And I'm just super excited for this opportunity to go out there and prove to the world what we know is possible. So. So the biggest thing that I wanted to do, because the decision ultimately was up to me, but I had other people helping me out, especially my parents. My mom did not care about football. She was like, go finish school. That's her thing. She wasn't even worried about whether I was getting drafted here or there, or her biggest thing was just making sure that I went back to school to finish. So that was her stance on it. My dad, you know, he just, of course, went with my mom. So their decisions kind of helped me, and they've never led me astray. So I'm here because of them, and I'm so happy that I made the decision that I did. So yeah. I think I put in the CAC for the CAC grade, and I got like a third round or come back to school type of thing. So everything worked out the way it was supposed to. So I wouldn't change my decision. I don't regret it. I mean, I'm super excited that I did come back, and we're here. So. Oh, for sure. Yeah, shout out Mountain Lake Futures. I mean, those guys have done a really good job of helping us out, especially the guys up here. So yeah.
Are there any players that you guys have identified in film on Michigan's defense you guys got to watch out for?
I think all of them. I mean, they wouldn't be in the college football playoffs if all of them weren't great players, well coached. You know, we worry more about the front seven, so I would just say all those guys. I mean, the rotating guys as well. Those guys are really talented. For me, I've watched a lot of film on number 17, number 32, 8, 5. They're linebackers. They've got really good interior guys, number 55, 78. So we just got to be ready for all of them. I mean, they're all a talented group, and I know they're really well coached. So, like I've been saying, man, I know they're going to bring their A game, so we got to make sure we're there.
Was there a moment that you guys had during the season where you had an epiphany, where like, holy cow, we can do this, we can get to that?
Yeah, I mean, ever since the beginning of fall camp, coaches told us that it was 161 days from the beginning of fall camp that we could be here, and we are. I mean, I just think from the beginning of the season, we've all had that belief that we were going to come here, we were going to be here. We just had to make sure we were prepared and go 1-0 every single week. So yeah, I mean, I can't really point out a specific game or whatever, but I just think that that's what makes this team really good, is that we were able to go 1-0 14 times, and here we are one more time to go 1-0. So super excited about the opportunity.
You guys have been playing in high stakes these last few months. And 3 of your last 5 games have been determined by 3 points or less. You just had a nail biter against Texas last week with 1 score. How do you guys avoid burnout and just keep away from the burnout and stay focused as this big challenge?
I think just keeping the same mindset that we go into every single game, no matter who we play. I think this team is just really resilient in that no matter what the score is, we've been able to come out with the win, and that's all that matters, whether it's by 3, whether it's by 40. And I think that's what helps us out in those games that come down to the wire, is that we've been in that position before. So I wouldn't doubt that, you know, that might be another thing that happens on Monday. So.
Troy, when you look at the roster, especially among the starters, and both teams experience for one reason or another, situation, injuries, whatever, all seem to be your guys. I guess kind of how is that
the dynamic played out with just kind of the unity of mission, I guess, among the older guys to see it turn out in the last. I mean, the other thing that's how much of that maturity you guys have helped you in all these close games.
I would just say what made us so close, especially the older guys, and is the adversity that we've been through. We've been through 3 head coaches now since I've been here, and I would just say that the one thing that's helped us out, especially me, is that we were able to keep our O-line coach, Coach Huff. So he's been through, all the adversity that we've been through, and I think that's just what makes us closer, and that we can kind of pass that message on to the younger guys that not everything's going to go the way that you plan it. Not everything's going to go on your timing. So you just got to make sure that you're always prepared for your moment, and no matter when that moment is, you seize that opportunity. So, yeah. Oh, for sure. Personally, yeah, a lot of these games that come down to the wire, I feel like it adds another year to my life. Oh man, it's very stressful. Trust me, it's watching that on the sideline, especially during the Texas game. That last drive, it sucks for me because it sucks for the offense because we want to be out there for those final moments. But we had all trust in our defense that they were gonna seize that opportunity and make those plays when needed. And yeah, I mean, like I said, that stress it comes with a lot of yeah. Sorry about that. Oh no, I feel like it takes away from my life. But I mean, no matter how these games go by, I mean, all that matters is that we came out with the win. So.
Troy, much is made about Michael scouting the offensive line when he came in here. Statistically, that line wasn't very good. What happened? Were you aware of that? One of the first things he wanted to do is see film of the line to be protected.
I did not know that. I think he's mentioned it a little bit, but yeah, that 2021 year is really hard to talk about because there's a lot of things that happened that weren't in our control. You know what I mean? So I didn't really play that. I didn't really play much that year either. So I can't really speak for how the offense grooved and how the O-line grooved out there. But I mean, here we are. Here yeah, I'm.
When he got on campus and started the game drills, the light go on with you at some point that this guy could really be a difference maker. What was the bit?
Oh, for sure. 2022 spring ball, first day of practice. I mean, just seeing that guy sling the ball, it was ridiculous. I'm like, who is this guy? I mean, of course, I had known him for 3 months at that point, but I'm just like, damn, this guy's really good. And I think the thing that helped us kind of gel together as a team was that he got out of his comfort zone. He was able to kind of be that vocal leader that we needed him to be, and he took that role head on. And I mean, we wouldn't want to be blocking for anybody else but him. So.
Did you know at the time when he was in? I mean, you know now about his injuries. He almost gave up the game, and he really, told the athletic he was scared at times. Did that show itself? Did he ever confide in you about that?
I would say a really special moment that I'll always remember Mike by is last year during the Washington State game. We had chapel on Friday night, and our chaplain had asked the seniors if they wanted to come up and talk, and he was the first guy to step up. And he really, right there, it was when he told us that story, because I had not known about his recent history of injuries and stuff that he's been through. And for him to be vulnerable and share that with us was really awesome. And I'll never forget the trust and that he had in us to confide. I mean, just tell us that story. I mean, I wouldn't say it made me look at him different, but just kind of just having more respect for the guy, and kind of just listening to the stuff that he always preaches to us, and kind of holds us accountable, and knowing that he's been through a lot. So.
What date was that? When was that?
It was our last game of the season, so it was November. I think it was the day after Thanksgiving was when he had told us. No. Last year, 2022. Yeah. Yep.
Real quick, you mentioned Coach DeBoer's. I mean, 61 days to the national championship. Did he count that down every day?
Coach Grubb did, yes.
Coach Grubb.
Yeah, every after every game on Saturday, on Sunday, he would always point at the 161 days on that slide. You can go ask him. Yeah, he's a madman, but in a good way.
Thank you.
Of course.
Troy, what would winning a national title mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, a lot of people have been praising us about these individual awards, the Joe Moore, but I think this was the biggest reward you could ever get in college football. I mean, who wouldn't want to play in this position? I'm just super excited for this opportunity, man. I just can't wait to go out there and prove to the world what we've been working for and what we've all believed that we could do. So. I mean, that moment was so special. We had a little Heisman watch party, and no one knew that he was going to do that. But honestly, I wasn't surprised that he would do something like that, just because of who he is and what kind of leader he is for this team. And I mean, like I said, him doing stuff like that is not surprising to me, just because of the fact that he's so humble, even through all the praise that he does get. I mean, I bet that's all stressful, but at the end of the day, he always gives praise to us, and that's just the natural-born leader that he is. So.
Troy, not knowing what you do to get prepared for games individually, what was it like prepping for the Sugar Bowl, that type of setting? What was on the line? And are you noticing anything you learned from how you got yourself game ready for that and showing up this week at all?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we had 30 days to kind of prepare for the Sugar Bowl, so I would say I was really prepared for that game just because I had so many days. For me, it was kind of watching the same things over and over, just making sure that I knew the game plan stone cold. So this week, it's back to the regular week. So, I mean, I kind of already had a routine that I gone into for every game, kind of just what I'm going to watch on certain days. So, yeah, I just kind of have to do it a little bit quicker. I don't have 30 days. So kind of watching a lot of film every day, every night before I go to bed, and just making sure that I'm prepared for the moment. So
I hate to ask you to think about the big picture, and obviously you don't have to answer, but like big picture in the scope of your life, what does this mean to you and to do with your teammates? I mean, how do you possibly put that in words?
I'm just so happy that I came back. That's one of the biggest things, because I get to play with guys like these two. Our center, Parker Brailsford, and Nathaniel Kleppel, my left guard. My boy Raj, shout out my boy Julius. I mean, the memories that we made this year is something you just can't pay for. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's something that it means so much to me, and I'm just so glad that I was able to come back and experience this with these guys, and I got so much love for these boys. So.
How are y'all so dominant up front in the second?
First off, we got to make sure that we're on the same page, and my boy Parker Brailsford, he makes sure that he does that for us, and just making sure that me and Nate and we're on the same page as well. And I just think that the biggest thing that separates us is that we're able to play as one, and we're all making sure that we're always on the same page. So.
Y'all pretty much neutralized the Andre Sweat trophy winner.
Just attacking them, because we see it on film that these guys are really good and that they make a lot of plays and that they're very disruptive. But these guys made sure that the game plan was to attack them and make sure that we got them out of their game. So. Yeah, I mean, whatever the game plan had planned out for us and whatever plays Coach Grubb called, I mean, we just had to make sure that those two were taken care of, and these guys did a really good job of doing that. So. Yeah.
Did he wash his jersey
I'm not sure. We tried our best. I mean, it's not on us. A lot of it's not on us. He does a really good job of making sure he moves his feet and he gets out the pocket when he needs to. And so it's a collective effort, and I'm just glad that we came out with that win. So, of course.
Repping the Pac-12 in its final year, how important is that to you?
I mean, it's just crazy that it's, kind of done for me. I mean, I've always wanted to play in the Pac-12. Growing up on the West Coast, I didn't look outside of the Pac during recruiting. So, I mean, it's kind of good to be here and represent, what that era and that legacy left. And so yeah.
I feel like
I do. I mean, we spoke on it a lot during last week. Just kind of people, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it is for sure a real thing. I think so. After the game, there's an interview that I did not know was going to be out there. Me just kind of shouting out ESPN and just, I mean, yeah, just not a lot of people. A lot of people seem surprised after we beat Texas. You know what I mean? And we weren't. That's the thing. I mean, a lot of people on the West Coast that we've played weren't surprised. So, yeah. I did not know he was here. That's crazy. I mean, of course. How you doing? Doing good. Yeah. I just hate waiting. I'm really bad at waiting. So you could. What's up?
Actually, Fautanu. You want to address the basketball on grass? Talking to the ESPN guys about that?
I have not. I hope they come up here soon, but no, I have not.
You were pretty animated after that game, and I know it was a huge game, but just talk to me a little bit about what that was like after we won that.
I mean, the excitement that went through that locker room was crazy. We were trying to celebrate that game, but we all kind of knew that winning that game wasn't just about winning that game. It was trying to get here. So I think, yeah, I mean, I was really excited. So
Tell me about this Michigan team. Looking at the film, the scout, do they remind you of anybody that you played?
I don't think so. I mean, I think this will be I said this last week, but I think this will be the best front seven that we go against, just in terms of how disruptive they are in the backfield and how well coached they are. And so we just got to make sure that we're prepared for all the things that they're going to throw at come Monday.
I can't remember, but when you went back to Michigan a few years ago, did you play?
I did not. No.
Anything you remember? I mean, just looking at the film, anything from
I remember a couple guys that are now playing at Michigan that were there 2 years ago. Was it 2 years? Yeah. Some of the guys that are now playing, and I remember those guys playing 2 years ago. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, of course we won. Of course we lost, so that leaves a salty taste in our mouth. But this is a whole different team. It's a whole new team. So I'm just really excited for this game, this opportunity at hand.
You guys are underdogs again. 14-0, second ranked in the country. You've been an underdog for the last 3 games. Just talk a little bit about how that sits with you.
I'm just not surprised. I'm not surprised that we're the underdogs. I mean, that's the position we want to be in, man. That's the position that we've been in all year, 14 games into it. So what's one more? You know what I mean? So I'm just excited for this game, and yeah. Yeah. How you doing? I personally don't. Yeah, I personally don't like doing stuff like this, but here I am.
I'm wondering, how many players in this team would you say had a decision to come back last year?
I would say about 10, or maybe less. I'm not sure, but around there.
And almost everybody came back.
Yeah, I think everyone did
Everybody.
that had the opportunity to leave. So,
So first, why did you decide to come back?
from a lot of the people that I love and trust, we all just came to the conclusion that the best decision was to come back. I mean, for me, the biggest thing was having the opportunity to play in games like this. For my parents, their biggest reason why they wanted me to come back is because they wanted me to finish school. So, yeah, I mean, the collective effort and the collective talking, that was the decision that was made. So,
How do you remember those couple weeks? Everybody goes off on their own, they have their own decisions. Was it a domino effect? How do you remember seeing
Yeah.
somebody come back?
yeah, I would say the day before the banquet, Mike had texted me asking me what I was thinking. And then the day of the banquet was when he announced that he came back. And that was a big, that was one of the biggest influences on why I came back, for sure. Just wanted to block for the guy at least one more time. I mean, because I knew exactly what kind of leader he was and where he could take us. So,
How big of a part of this team's story is experience?
what was that?
How big of a part is this team's story is experience?
Oh, I mean, a lot of the younger guys make fun of us, but
Are the younger guys like fourth-year seniors? Like,
no, I think we're just a lot of the younger guys make fun of us for being old. Because I'm in my 5th year. Like, my locker mate is 17 years old, Austin Mack. Like, what are you talking about? I'm 6 years older than my locker mate. It's crazy. But, yeah, I mean, the experience that we all have, it helps us a lot going to games like this, knowing that no matter what goes on in the game, that you got to make sure to keep even keel and stay level-headed, because there's always ups and downs to a football game. I mean, Michigan's going to make plays. We just got to make sure we make more. So.
last thing for me, y'all have all been together for a very long time. There's a couple transfers, a couple younger players, but this roster stayed together. What's allowed that to happen in this era when there's so much?
I mean, just the love for each other, especially the 5th and 6th year guys. The amount of head coaches that we've been through is pretty tough. I mean, losing guys to the transfer portal, I mean, that's what makes us all close, is that we were able to stick through all the adversity. So yeah, I mean, that's what helps us win games on Saturday, and was hopefully going to help us win that game on Monday.
What was that transition like when Coach DeBoer came in? Like, what were those conversations like to kind of keep you around and like a lot of minors?
Yeah, that decision after that 2021 year, during that month while we had home, I had a lot of conversation with my parents, and there was a lot of talks about maybe getting out of here and going somewhere else and playing somewhere else. But for some reason, I had a gut feeling that just stick it out, maybe for 3 months. If you don't like it during 2022 spring ball, get out. But when they came in, they chose the right guy for the job, man. And I think that's just, for me, I'm very religious, and I think that's just God. God was telling me that, you're right where you need to be. So, yeah, I mean, having them is awesome, and they've just done a really good job of bringing back that culture that Coach Pete had when I first got there. That's exactly why I stayed. So.
How similar is Coach Pete to Coach DeBoer in terms of just the way things are run day-to-day?
I mean, things that are run day to day, it's kind of the same no matter what. But I would just say that the culture that was brought back in the locker room was special. I mean, he reminds me so much of Coach Pete just because of how family oriented he is, and how much he treats us like, no matter where you play, no matter where you at on the depth chart, like, no one gets treated any different than the other. So shout out to Coach DeBoer, man. He's the GOAT.
What moment early on did you realize that, I made the right decision, that this guy is for real, he's going to put us in a good place?
I would say during the winter of 2022, we kind of were going through some ups and downs as a team, just trying to trust in the new coaching staff. That's how it's always going to be. But I think fall camp 2022 is when they really kind of cemented that what they wanted to in place in this team. And the good thing about it was that we all had come from a coach that had already had the same morals that he did. So it was kind of easy to buy into what he was preaching, because we knew that he wasn't just all talk. He was going to do exactly what he was talking about. So.
Looking at the matchup, a lot's being made of what Michigan's defensive front did last week, all the sacks. Is it fair to say this is a different kind of challenge than you guys have faced this year?
For sure. I said this last week, but it kind of changes week to week. This will probably be the best front seven that we go against all year. The one word that I describe this team as is very disruptive. In the backfield, like you said, I mean, 7 sacks, however many it was, against a really good Alabama team is something to talk about. And we just got to make sure that we're prepared and we're ready to execute that game plan that Coach Huff and Coach DeBoer and Coach Grubb have for us. So.
What is it that they do that's extra?
They just line up in some really creative. They just line up in really creative ways. It's really hard to pick out who's coming or who's dropping in coverage, and they just have some really crazy ways of lining up that we don't really see too much. But our coaches are prepared, and they've prepared us, so we're ready to go.
How can the scout team get you guys ready for local football?
I think we have the best scout team in the country. I mean, those guys do a really great job of making sure that we're prepared. Especially the guys that I go against. I've been going against them for 2 years. They know my tendencies. I know theirs, but they do a really good job of making sure that I'm prepared for Saturday. And yeah, they're really important, especially in games like this where we need really good looks, and they've done a really great job of doing that.
Lastly for me, with Michael, do you recall early on, what was the first moment where he really struck you like, wow, this guy is like, he's the guy?
I wouldn't say that the moment that I had kind of realizing that was on the field. It was kind of off. I had told the story earlier, was that during our last game last year, during our Washington State, our rivalry game, we were away on a Friday night during our chapel. He had stepped up and kind of talked about his testimony and his story, and that was the first time I've ever heard of it. And, you kind of just, like I said, I don't really look at him any different just because he's been through that. But just having that respect for him and kind of listening to the words that he says is a little bit, deeper, and kind of knowing where he had been, knowing what he had been through, kind of respect that guy. I mean, he's crazy. I mean, he shows that on the field, but I think the biggest thing for us, why we follow him so much, is that because we know him off now. It took him a while to kind of get comfortable, but I mean, now he's kind of one of the guys for sure. Yeah, I had never heard that story before. 11 months into the year, I mean, kind of just looking at it like, dang. What he said, he had never made it halfway through a season in his first 4 years, and I was like, no way. I told my parents that story, and they started crying, and I was like, it's kind of crazy because we kind of know him now, but when he tells that story to other people, it's like, yeah, I mean, the guy's crazy. The guy's been through so much. I don't see – you see why. I mean, he does such a great job, so –